Hello, everyone. Welcome to a recently published article at POM titled Supply Chain Leakage of Greenhouse Gas Emissions in Supplier Innovation. My name is Sunny Song. I am an assistant professor at the University of Tennessee. This is a joint work with my co-author team, Yan Dong, Thomas Call, Craig Carter, and Ke-Feng Xu. In this research, we study a counterintuitive question. Can carbon leakage in supply chains be beneficial in the long run? Typically, carbon leakage would be considered as a negative spillover effect, leading to long-term total emissions increase and is not socially desirable. Our research studies an alternative possibility. When companies outsource high-emitting activities to suppliers, but the goal is to improve both efficiency and emissions, the total supply chain emissions may actually decrease, and this type of supply chain emissions leakage may be beneficial in the long run. For example, the transition to net zero emissions electric vehicles requires redesigning the supply chain and relocate most customers' emissions to the automakers and further up to their suppliers, at which point about 45% of emissions goes to making raw materials such as steel and aluminum, and 35% goes to the battery. We refer to this phenomenon as optimization-based supply chain leakage. However, for such a leakage to be socially desirable and economically sustainable in the long run, it would need suppliers who are innovative and have technical capabilities to help optimize both efficiency and emissions. So in this research, we intend to explore this optimization-based supply chain leakage effect, as well as the role of supplier innovation. Our research questions are given below. Is greenhouse gas emissions reduction of a firm associated with higher emissions from its suppliers? If so, is the leakage greater when the suppliers are more innovative? We empirically test our questions based on the data from Bloomberg at a firm supplier dyadic level, where the leakage actually happens. One of the major challenges we had for the dyadic analysis in supply chains is to address the interdependence of the supply chain dyads. So here's one example. This is a multi-way clustered supply chain with 4 companies: Apple, Samsung, Intel, and Jabil. So Intel is a major supplier for both Apple and Samsung, while Apple is also a customer of Samsung and Jabil. Our dyadic estimation to understand the leakage effect can be complicated by the interdependent dyads that share the same focal companies or suppliers. We therefore follow appropriate econometric methods to treat the issues as well as other estimation challenges. So for more details, we welcome you to refer back to our paper. Let me share with you our findings. We first find that the supply chain emissions leakage effect exists. And this leakage is stronger for innovative suppliers, particularly those that are eco-innovative and technologically more advanced, but maintaining a close technology proximity to the focal companies. So this type of suppliers are likely to be the leakage targets either because of their greater capability or efficiency in emissions reduction, or because they share very similar technological capability or knowledge as the focal companies, and they're more capable to overcome any technical barriers in emissions relocation or coordination under the leakage. So companies should consider redesign their sourcing strategies to improve their emissions performance by working with this type of suppliers. Our extended analysis also finds that supply chain leakage may be associated with a decrease in the combined emissions in the supply chain dyad. Companies should discourage emissions leakage that only take advantage of regulation gaps, but instead, they should encourage emissions leakage driven by supply chain innovation. To encourage this type of optimization-based supply chain leakage, we suggest managers should consider providing emissions-related incentives to suppliers and to collaborate with suppliers to develop innovative technologies. We acknowledge and appreciate all the constructive feedback from the editorial and review team, and we thank you for your attention and hope you enjoy the paper.